What is going on, trainers? DrumVillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go PvP content, and today we're taking a look at a Master League team, and specifically we're looking at Meloetta in the Master League. Now, I was super lucky, and my Meloetta that I got from GoFest was 100% IV. It was a perfect IV Meloetta, and that's absolutely bananas, and I'm super chuffed with it. So I decided I'm going to max the thing out, because if they ever release the shiny, there's a good chance I'm not going to get a Hundo of that, so I can use that for the lower leagues. But I figured it's got a massive potential CP, maxing out at almost 4,000 CP at level 40, closer to 4,500 at level 50. So I thought it would be good for the Master League. Let's give it a go and show you guys how it performs. Meloetta has super unique coverage in the Master League in that it is not only a Psychic type, but it's also part Normal type. And this means that Meloetta resists Ghost type damage, which means it can easily wall things like Giratina Origin. It does well against Giratina Altered Forme. It means it does very well against Mewtwo if the Mewtwo isn't running Focus Blast, because it resists both Shadow Ball and Psystrike. So it's a very unique pick, gives great unique coverage. So the team comp we've decided to go for is Excadrill on the lead, which obviously is scared of fighters and water types like Kyogre. We've got Dialga on the save swap, and then Meloetta in the back. The main thing with this team is that we want to bait out a Melmetal with the Dialga. We save swap into Dialga, ideally bait out a Melmetal, because Melmetal resists all the moves that Meloetta has to throw, and then Meloetta can probably bulk its way through or sweep whatever's in the back. If the opponent swaps into a Mewtwo or a Giratina Origin against your Excadrill, Meloetta is going to wall it off, because it's got very good bulk, and it's just a very strong Pokemon. It does well offensively. That confusion damage chunks so many Pokemon away, and like I said, you can just confusion your way through Giratina Origins, which is fantastic. If you're asking yourself, is Meloetta worth maxing out for the Master League, powering up to level 40? My personal recommendation is yes, it is good enough to justify powering it up to level 40. I have a Hundo, so I'm a bit more justified in that, but I would say even if you've got just a decent IV Meloetta, it's very solid in the Master League. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoy the content, consider subscribing, and let's jump into some battles. Also, let me know if you want me to try putting a team together with Meloetta on the lead, and I'll see what kind of team I can come up with that's going to be good in this current meta. Now, the first matchup, we pull a Lugia lead, and Lugia is very good lead for Excadrill. You're fine to stay in with Excadrill, throw rock slides at it, you're going to hit for super effective damage. If they build up for an Aero Blast, you are going to have to shield it, because Excadrill is fairly squishy and you will get taken out by an Aero Blast. Obviously, if they shield bait you with a Sky Attack, you will get that shield back out of them, because you'll get to another Rock Slide before they get to all the way up to the Aero Blast from baiting you with a Sky Attack. So it's not particularly worth them baiting. I wouldn't expect them to. If they stay in, they're probably weak to Excadrill in the back with at least one Pokemon. So this opponent did. So we were ready to swap straight out to Dialga, and we pull out that Melmetal. Now, the good thing is you might think, well, this wastes the Dialga, which is very good against the Kyogre, and that's not necessarily true, and we don't necessarily need Dialga to take on Kyogre. Meloetta can go toe-to-toe with Kyogre just fine. Now, we're going to show that one of the superpowers here, because we want to get a shield out of this Melmetal. They're going straight for the superpowers, which is fine, but we're happy to throw this Draco, get this thing out of here, and now they've got two shields to R0. And yeah, we've got Excadrill, which might be able to get a draw run off and get one of those shields out of him. But also, at this point, we might just have to commit to just confusioning down, because we're not going to get to 3 moves now. So we're just going to go ahead and start throwing confusions and see if we can get through this Kyogre. You see the confusions are doing absolutely massive damage, and this Surf isn't going to take us out. Meloetta is incredibly bulky. Surf from Kyogre does hit most things pretty hard if it's not resisted, but look at that, we could take it like nobody's business, and we're just going to be able, oh, we're not quite able to get it. Did we preserve that? We did preserve the Dialga, we swapped to Excadrill, so we're just going to be able to finish off with a 1 Dragon Breath, and that's going to give us the win. GG. If we had have made it to the draw run on Excadrill against a Kyogre and thrown it and gotten a shield, then we could have got to 2 Psyshocks on Meloetta and that would have gotten it down as well. So all good here. Second matchup we get a Ho-Oh lead. Now Ho-Oh's not the best lead for this team. You can see the Incinerates do massive damage to Excadrill, but also these Rock Slides are going to hit Ho-Oh like an absolute truck. So we're probably going to get shields out of him with these moves. And the nice thing about Mudshot is that you are getting energy very fast, even compared to Incinerate, which is a solid move. You're going to throw a Brave Bird, we're going to throw up the shield, we think it's worthwhile. They're going to swap out to Mewtwo. And what we're going to do here is they've thrown 2 Psycho Cuts. So we're going to throw 3 Mudshots and swap to Meloetta. And that was, we don't catch a Psystrike, but it was just to try and catch one in case they threw, because it's 5 Psycho Cuts, it's the same as it's 5 Mudshots to that charge move. So if they'd have thrown, then we'd have caught on Meloetta and would have been in a very strong position. The Mewtwo actually throws a Focus Blast at us, and that's one of the few moves that's going to do a lot of damage to Meloetta from a Mewtwo. And you can let it go, but then you're going to have to shield a Psystrike afterwards. I wouldn't say it's worth shielding though. If you don't know they have Focus Blast, don't shield it, because there's a very good chance they'll throw Psystrikes, or Shadow Ball, or Ice Beam, and you can take 2 of any of those moves on Meloetta from Mewtwo. So you're better off gambling and maybe having to shield a Psystrike afterwards. You might sometimes get Focus Blast, but it won't one-shot you, so it's not as threatening as it is in other situations, such as with Dialga, or even Excadrill, where that Focus Blast is going to absolutely annihilate you. Now we Draco Meteor there, Dialga, and smash it to 1,000,000 pieces. Bang it out of there, Dialga. Absolutely missed that, but I think this Ho-Oh's going to be able to take us out here. Yeah, we're not going to survive, and the opponent's going to take the win there. GG. There aren't many Pokemon that can comfortably survive a Focus Blast from Mewtwo and comfortably survive any of its charge moves, but Meloetta's the one. It's very good coverage just for Mewtwo's, if nothing else. Now in this matchup we've got the Excadrill mirror match, and this is scary because Excadrill can put a lot of work in on our Dialga, so you really want to keep throwing Mudshots and try and sneak one through when they throw to get ahead on energy. But they swap out to a Mewtwo after getting our shield, and what we're going to do is we're going to stay in, and I think we're going to throw 2 drill runs here. And this Mewtwo's thrown, we know this is a Psystrike because they've only thrown 5 Psycho Cuts, or 5 or 6. We're going to shield to preserve the Excadrill because we need Excadrill to take out their Excadrill. And we're planning to bring in Meloetta here after we get a shield, but we don't actually get a shield. And this opponent's planning to just come back in with Excadrill. We've got no shields, they know they can one-shot us. So we are going to throw a drill run, get a shield, and then try and catch a drill run on Meloetta, which is kinda nuts, but it works. We even sneak a confusion through, and depending what the opponent's got, they might choose to stay in here. And we're kind of hoping that they do. And look at those resisted confusions. They don't look resisted. They're absolutely chipping away this Excadrill. When I get to a Psyshock, I think they're overcharging. I think they underestimated how fast we get to Psyshocks. It is relatively quick, especially for a confusion user. They're going to throw here. This isn't going to be enough to take us out. They'll have to throw another draw run. And they're actually going to swap out to Giratina now. And you can see they're going to struggle to Shadow Claw us down. They can get it almost. We have a bit of go battle lag, but we're still able to get a Psyshock off, do some good damage here, and then once Meloetta goes down, we're going to bring in Dialga and start Dragon Breathing this Giratina Origin down. Now, we're just going to stay in. We can't shield anything. We're going to gamble that they're not going to get to 2 Shadow Balls. It's going to be very close. They're throwing here. We don't think they have enough for 2 Shadow Balls, but it's close. It's just an ominous win. That's great. We're going to survive this, and now we can Dragon Breath down the Excadrill and even get to this Iron Head before they can farm us down. If the Giratina Origin had taken us out, I think that Excadrill did have close to a draw run left, so it might have outpaced us and would have taken the win. So very close game there, GG to my opponent. Now most often if an opponent swaps into Mewtwo, you are going to want to swap into your Meloetta very quickly, but we did want to try and get that shield back. So we did stop in, but swapping to Meloetta straight away is generally your best answer. You can just confusion them down and hit them with Psyshocks to chip them down. If they've got no shields, Dazzling Gleam will annihilate Mewtwo. And now in this matchup we get a Mewtwo Lead, and we're going to choose to try and catch a Psystrike on Meloetta, which we do. That's fantastic. You can see that it does less than half, so 3 Psystrikes will take out your Meloetta. A Mewtwo can get to 3 Psystrikes pretty quickly, but in that time you're going to be close to a Dazzling Gleam, you can put a lot of pressure onto their shields, and you can see how hard that Dazzling Gleam hit Dialga. That's a neutral Dazzling Gleam, and it smashes it to pieces. If we'd have shielded, we could have risked confusion. It'd have been close, but we'd have been close to confusioning down that Dialga, because the Dragon Breaths don't hit for very much on Meloetta. It's incredibly bulky. Now we've got so much energy on Excadrill, we're going to throw 2 at this Mewtwo, which is going to force a shield out of him, or just Mewtwo's going to have to go down. Mewtwo is going to shield, we're going to swap to Dialga, now we're ahead on shields, and they've got a Zacian in the back, and Zacian's not, yeah, this is the first run of Master League that Zacian's been in? No, there was one at the end of Season 8, right, where people could use Zacian. It's a very, very strong pick. I didn't get a good IV one personally from the raids. I did quite a lot, but didn't get a good one. It has access to close combat. Look at that, smashes steel types to pieces, but it also drops the defense 2 stages. We know we can survive 1, barely, so we decide to just take it, throw Iron Heads, which the Iron Head will definitely one-shot once they drop the defense. And since we still had 2 shields, we could have just mud-shotted down the Mewtwo. The opponent realizes and surrenders. GG. It's a high-risk play swapping Meloetta into a Mewtwo Lead to catch, but if they don't have a Melmetal in the back to hard wall you, or even something like a Metagross, you're going to do very well against them in general, because it has very versatile coverage against anything that's not Steel type. This matchup we get a Giratina Altered Lead. Now we swap straight out because both Dialga and Meloetta have good matchups against Giratina Altered, and we want to try and get switch advantage because Meloetta is going to be resisting the Shadow Claws. The Dragon Claws don't do very much at all, and so we'll just be able to confusion it down. It's not necessarily a bad matchup for Excadrill being against them, but like I said, if you've got 2 better matchups, you might as well swap out and gamble with getting switch advantage. Now, this Dialga manages to come in and farm our Dialga down, which would seem problematic, but it means we can come in with Excadrill, get to this draw run, take it out, and we're not too far down on health. We're level on shields still. And we did chip down that Giratina Altered quite a bit with Dialga before they swapped out. We swap into Meloetta and start getting ahead on energy, and now they bring in a Togekiss. We're going to go straight for a Dazzling Gleam. This will do huge damage if they don't shield, but they do. We thought maybe they were going to not shield and save it for the Giratina potentially, but they chose to shield, and that's fine. You see we can take the Ancient Power, no worries. We're still going to get to this Psyshock, and I think we're going to just be able to confusion down this Togekiss before they charm us down, which means we can get at least 1 confusion on this Giratina if it doesn't throw, and that means all we have to do is land 1 drill run. Now this Giratina does have a lot of energy, but we've got a lot of health. We might as well shield. Most often you'll find that they go for the Shadow Sneak and then try and bait you with a Dragon Claw when you're a little lower on health. They went for the Dragon Claw first, got the shield out of us, but that's still fine, because even though they got so much energy, we can survive 2 Shadow Sneaks and the Shadow Claws and get to this draw run. It'll be a little bit close, but we're still going to be able to take them out and take the win. That's going to give us a 4-1 in this first set with Meloetta, and we're now at above 2500. We're up in veteran rank now and slowly climbing. This team performs surprisingly well. I haven't actually seen any other Meloettas in the Master League yet. There's probably 1 or 2 people that have maxed them, and obviously only recently did it become available for everybody in-game to get the research if they didn't do GoFest. So you might see more of them going forward in the Master League, and obviously it is now available to all players, but also you do only get 1, and it is a big commitment to choose to max it out since you can't bring it back down in CP for the lower leagues. Right, Snorlax lead. Pretty unusual lead for the Master League, more often on the safe swap position, but maybe this opponent's trying to catch Giratina Origins on the lead since Snorlax is such a good wall to them. They actually swap out to a Mewtwo, and we land a drill run because we know we can throw it before they throw a Psystrike at us, and then we're going to dip to Meloetta. We know we can take any move, even if it's a Focus Blast. They throw a Psystrike, and that's no threat at all. Now, this Mewtwo's got quite a bit of energy. If it's a Focus Blast, it would take us out from this point, but it's not. It's just another Psystrike. And we're going for an aggressive confusion down, and I didn't realise that the Mewtwo had 2 Psystrikes pretty much ready, so we're going to drop a shield. So we're going to go down a shield to get switch advantage, but we have confusion down the Mewtwo, and we've got so much energy to throw into whatever comes in. And you can see the licks are resisted on Meloetta, so they're doing almost nothing to us. And these confusions are going to chunk away along with these Psyshocks, even against something as bulky as Snorlax. And they're probably going to go for a lick down, and they're going to get a nasty surprise at just how much Meloetta can take. You see, we're going to get to a third Psyshock, and this means they're going to have to give us that shield back, or they're going to have to lose all this energy they've been building up here. And that's fine for us. We almost confusion them down. They've got 1 HP and a Dream. We're going to bring in Excadrill because we've got a feeling they've got another good answer to Excadrill in the back. We're just going to take this move, no stress whatsoever, and they've got a Kyogre in the back. We do take 1 Waterfall on Excadrill, which does a massive amount of damage, but it's still not going to take us out. And we've got a bit of energy. We're fairly close to a draw run. I think we're going to shield this up, yeah, because we might get to 2 Iron Heads before they get to a Blizzard. I don't think 1 Waterfall lead lets them get to a Blizzard if they bait with a Surf before we get to 2 Iron Heads. So we're going to throw this, take out the Kyogre, and then we're just going to farm down this Snorlax. It had a lot of energy. It's probably got a superpower to throw at us here, but they get Dragon Breath down before they can get it off, and that's going to give us the win. GG. So be warned, it's very difficult to lick down a Meloetta. It can put some serious work on you while you're grinding it down. Now, we get another Mewtwo lead in this matchup, and again, this isn't too bad. I think we're going to try and catch straight away. On the Meloetta we do, so we know this is a Psystrike, no need to shield. And we're just going to take this, no sweat, see what they choose to do. They're going to stay in, and we're going to count how many they're throwing here. Now, this can't be a Focus Blast. They haven't built up enough energy, so we're going to let it go. They throw a Shadow Ball, and you're going to see here, does pretty much around the same amount of damage that the Psystrike does. Again, it's 3 Shadow Balls to KO, it's 3 Psystrikes to KO, so it doesn't really matter, we're just going to take it. Now if we want switch advantage, we're going to have to shield, but Mewtwo does outpace Meloetta. We are pretty close to another Psyshock since we snuck a confusion through, so we figure it's worth the shield, get to this Psyshock and either get the second shield or get switch advantage. We do get the shield, and we should shield this. Because they stopped him when we swapped out of Excadrill, it means they've probably got a very good Excadrill answer in the back, probably a Kyogre, and it would have been worth getting switch advantage, and they do. There's a Kyogre, but we've also now got so much energy on this Excadrill. We're going to throw a draw run, there's just less than 50%. We're going to throw another draw run, and now the Kyogre's super low. Yes, our Excadrill's energy dry. We're going to swap straight to Dialga, chip it down a little more, and they swap out to their Dialga, and we're in a mirror match here. And this is fine. We know this is an Iron Head, and it's probably worth letting go. Yeah, because we can get a shield out of this Dialga with our Dialga using Draco Meteor. Then we can bring in Excadrill, build up to 2 drill runs, and then throw both at the Dialga and at the Kyogre back to back. So we just shield whatever they throw here, because the Kyogre isn't that close to a Surf. I think it's still 2 Waterfalls away. So if the Kyogre did happen to swap in, we just throw the draw run straight away. The Dialga's not going to get to a move again before we get to 2 draw runs back to back. So we're just going to throw both of these, and this is going to give us the win. GG. Now, obviously that Waterfall coming through would KO us, but the draw run will register first. So our damage, our win. Good game. One thing I love about this team is that it has both very nice charge move pressure, because Draco Meteor threatens so many things. Excadrill can 2-shot so many Pokemon with the Drill Run or the Rock Slide, and Meloetta has both charge move pressure and fast move pressure because it's just doing such relentless stab damage. Now, it seems at the minute that Mewtwo is the most popular lead in the Master League. It's at least the most common thing I've been seeing, but it might be something to do with my team composition, who knows. But we're going to do the same trick. We're going to try and catch on Meloetta. We don't actually catch a move, and they swap out into a Zekrom, obviously wanting to keep it away from the Excadrill. But look at how much damage these confusions are doing. We're going to get to a second Psyshock. This is going to do big damage if it goes unshielded. Hits for maybe a third of its health, and now it's within 2 confusion range. So we can shield this Crunch. I think they're going to get to a second one here. They did get quite a bit of energy. We don't quite, they've got 1 HP and a Dream, we don't quite take them out. I think this is worth shielding just to get switch advantage. Now, going down to 0 shields when they've got a Mewtwo is pretty risky play, but we do have a fair bit of energy on the Excadrill ready to go. They throw a Psystrike at us, which isn't too bad. This could be a big mistake. Going down shields, against a Mewtwo. If this has got Focus Blast, it does have Focus Blast, bang! Absolutely wrecks poor Dialga. This Mewtwo's probably going to... Oh, okay, they're going to throw here, that's fine. I was saying they might threaten to get to another Focus Blast, but they are energy dry at this point. So we're going to throw 2 draw runs. This is probably going to get the shield, it might not. We undercharge a little bit, and we don't actually finish taking out the Mewtwo. There's a Dialga in back, so Excadrill is primed to sweep this game if it had a shield, which it doesn't. And landing 1 draw run isn't quite enough to one-shot a Dialga. You need, I think, 2 draw runs worth of mud shots, as well as the draw run to actually take it out, so we don't quite have enough damage. They're going to take the win. GG! Going down 2 shields against a Mewtwo that we didn't know if it had Focus Blast was a big, risky play, and it did backfire massively in that match. Second to last match, and I hate this lead. Melmetal. Now, we do have Dialga to bait out Melmetals, so you'd think this is the ideal scenario. And it somewhat is, but this is so awkward because if you throw a draw run before they throw a superpower, it doesn't one-shot, and then they can dump superpowers into you and threaten you. The superpower does roughly the same amount of damage to Excadrill as a draw run does to Melmetal. You can both survive 1, and now we're going to throw a second draw run, and because we've landed 1, over time we would threaten to actually grind down the Melmetal with Mudshot, but we decide to swap out to Meloetta because once it's that low, it can't do that much work against Meloetta. So we decide to swap in, get ahead on energy, and see what we pull out of the back. And they've actually got an Yveltal. And Yveltal does very well against Meloetta. It can't one-shot with a Dark Pulse, which is really nice. Bang! Look at that Dazzling Gleam damage! Absolutely annihilates Yveltal. They still managed to farm us down, but we don't care. We just absolutely smashed it to pieces. We're going to bring an Excadrill. We're not going to shield. We're going to gamble with a Focus Blast. It's not, it's a Dark Pulse. Doesn't quite take us out. We swap into Dialga quickly just to snipe down because the Mud Shots will be doing nothing to Yveltal. They bring in Melmetal, and this Melmetal's loaded on energy. Is this worth a shield? It is. They're going to throw superpowers, that's fine. I think, yeah, this is another superpower, but this is probably worth leaving. Now we're going to double shield. We're going to commit that superpower is the hardest hitting move left, and they've got a Lugia in the back. This is bad news. We should have let that superpower go because they can go straight for an Aeroblast, and Aeroblast is going to hit harder than a single debuff superpower, I think. It's close. They do roughly... It's a lot of damage that both moves do. This is going to hit us like an absolute truck, and now they're going to be able to farm us down with Dragon Breath. Not Dragon Breath, sorry, Dragon Tail. And I don't think Excadrill has enough energy and health to get to a Rock Slide, so I think they're going to take the win here. Oh no, no, the next Dragon Tail probably would have taken us out, and we wouldn't have got the Rock Slide off either way, but that's going to be a good game. Jumping into the last matchup now, and if you watched this far, thank you for sticking around. And in this last matchup, we actually get a Zacian lead. And Zacian is pretty bad news across the board for our team. Meloetta does very well against Zacian. Meloetta has such good spicy coverage, and it does well against Zacian. But both Excadrill and Dialga struggle with it because it's got access to close combat, and with Snarl as a fast move, it gets to it very quickly and gets to back. Now, this one actually throws 1 Snarl early, which is great for us because we can shield it and then get a drill run off and force a shield. Because if you throw a drill run first before they throw a close combat, they can survive it and they don't have to shield. So now that they've thrown and they've forced both our shields out, which is absolutely horrendous for us, and swap out into a Palkia, which is fairly spicy. We're going to throw 2 draw runs, I think, and either just KO this Palkia or get that last shield back. We want to have nuke potential to absolutely annihilate that Zacian. We get that last shield, and then we're going to swap into Dialga. We're going to bait them to Dracoers. We know Dialga's going to struggle against the Zacian. We want to save Meloetta for it. They do Dracoers, and it absolutely smashes Dialga to pieces. We survive it though, because they didn't do much Dragon Breath damage as well. And we're going to try and get to a Draco Meteor against this Metagross. And we're very happy to see this here and not against our Meloetta, because the Steel and the Psychic typing will be double resisting the Psychic damage, but also it's going to have access to Earthquake, which is going to absolutely smash our Excadrill to pieces. Although Excadrill's probably easily in Meteor Mash range at this point, they choose to swap out aggressively to Zacian and preserve the energy on Metagross, which gives us a win con, because we can get Meloetta in here, farm down, and then get a Psyshock off against the Metagross and just take it out. Whereas if they'd have Earthquake to the Excadrill, then we'd have been a little bit tighter on dealing with this. They're going to get a Meteor Mash off here because of that energy, and you can see how heavily it resisted that Psyshock because it took it so well. But now we can farm down the Metagross with Excadrill and take that win. Able to take a 3-2 and climb up even closer to 2600 ELO with this team. As you can see, Meloetta's got really interesting coverage. I think it's got a lot of play in the Master League. It's not just a spice pick. I think it is very solid meta. It's got unique coverage, and I do want to try and find other teams to really take advantage of that. Let me know down below what you think of Meloetta, what you think of the team, and whether you're going to put yours up for Master League or not, or whether you're going to keep it for the Great League or Ultra League. If you've used it in those other leagues, is it got good performance? Let me know. Thank you as always for watching this far. If you've stuck around this long in the video, don't forget to subscribe. If you have already subscribed, you're an absolute legend, and I'll catch you guys next time.